Hi, it's Mike with AskTractorMike.com. Got a viewer letter today from a guy that if I were in business and selling tractors, I'd love to have him as a customer. And we're going to talk a little bit about trading your equipment in, how to get your best deal, and what's the right thing to do if you're trying to trade something in that's got an issue. Let's get to the letter. Letter comes today from Doug, and Doug says, I have an older four-wheel drive tractor, and finding the four-wheel drive driveline parts is nearly impossible. The front wheel bearings went out and damaged the spindles. I could not find new spindles, so they were taken to a machine shop and repaired. The oil seals lasted about 4 months and then started leaking again. I want to replace this tractor because of the ongoing problems and difficulty finding parts. I'm trying to decide if I should sell this tractor privately or trade it in for a new tractor. I feel like I can get more from a private sale. I have bought equipment that had hidden underlying issues. I don't want to sell it to someone and put them in the same situation that I'm in right now. If I trade it to a dealer and they resell it and the buyer runs into all these problems, I am concerned it will affect my relationship with the dealer. I plan to fully disclose all problems with the tractor. What are your thoughts on this? Well, Doug, my thoughts are you've got a lot of integrity, and that is much appreciated. That is something that's lacking in a lot of people in the world, and I just think we all could use some more, myself included, integrity. You've got a problem child tractor with an issue. Now, before we go any further, let's talk about this tractor a little bit. And I found out this tractor is a 3910 Ford. And that series of Ford tractors built several years ago were really well-built tractors, highly desirable. There's lots of 3910s in my world and 3930s, and that size tractors are around, but most of them here are two-wheel drive. We're in a heavily two-wheel drive area. A four-wheel drive would be kind of an anomaly. And so I had to go online and read a few threads about people that have had this issue. And a lot of times when you can't get parts to repair an issue, it's because there was a design flaw, and everybody that's got one of these has got this issue. And it's kind of true on this tractor. The 3910 had a front axle that tended to wear in certain areas and not in others. And I'll put a thread down below in the description if you want to read about somebody that's repaired it and hopefully got it fixed for good. You can on this thread. And I love tractor forums and threads where people repair things and go into depth about how they did it as a godsend for our industry. But let's start, Doug, by talking about don't think this tractor doesn't have a lot of value just because of this one issue. One thing I learned a long time ago, the supply of tractors that size, utility tractors, one step up from a compact, probably between 35 and 70 horsepower, four-wheel drive, and especially four-wheel drive with a front-end loader, that supply is way below what the demand is. There's a lot of people love those tractors for chore tractors, for feeding round bales, for doing work in lots where the space is restricted. You can do a lot with a tractor like that, and the supply of used tractors is very, very limited. So first, Doug, let's talk you off the ledge. You've got a tractor with a little issue here, but there are people that can fix it and people that would love to have your tractor. So don't think your tractor is worthless. There are things you can do to try to repair the problem. It takes somebody with quite a bit of mechanical ability to do that, but it is possible to do it. And then there are people that would buy the tractor and live with the problem. You know, little oil leaking down is not that big an issue. But let's break this down. Two things. First off, number one, will I get more for it if I sell it myself versus trading it into a dealer? And number two, do I tell the person I'm selling it to the issues? Well, let's start with number one first. Yeah, most of the time, Doug, if you sell it yourself, you'll get more money for the tractor than if you trade it to a dealer. As a dealer, I want to make money on my new stuff, and I also want to make money on my used stuff for the most part. And what I'm going to do when I trade that tractor and allow you a certain amount of money for that tractor is I'm going to put wholesale value in it, minus any repairs I've got to do on it, and that's what I'm going to give you for that tractor. Now, to find the wholesale value, there's a great tool, and I'll put a link to a video I did on it at the end called the Value Insight Portal, where you can find pretty reliably what that wholesale value of your tractor is. And I've entered my equipment in there to see what the wholesale values are because I was just curious what my tractor's worth. And so you can find out what that number is. And if the number's way off from what that number is, then you either need to find a new dealer or you need to negotiate. But you also run the risk when you're selling it yourself of having people come on your property. And a lot of us don't like that. You have somebody come on, they see you've got a tractor, they see you've got a brush hog, they see all this stuff, and someday when you're gone, they may come back and try to steal some of it. So that is the danger of selling it yourself, but you can do that. You will get more money. Now, there is a time when you'll get almost as much money in trade as what the tractor's worth, and that's when you have inventory. And that's why I do these videos once a quarter about where our new tractor inventory is. Because if inventory glumps up and a dealer has so much inventory that they're paying interest on that they just want rid of some of it, having a tractor that's different, that they don't drive in and see that tractor that's been sitting there a year, that new tractor, they might trade and put way too much money in your tractor just to get rid of that new tractor they're paying interest on. I don't think we're anywhere close to that yet, but we're headed in that direction. So keep an eye on that. It's not a bad time to be trading your tractor in. The other time that some dealers may put almost retail value in a used tractor is when their manufacturer is hammering them for market share. And Deere is awful bad about this, and I think some of the others would like to be. Deere hammers their dealers about you have to have a certain market share. You have to have a certain percentage of the market that you sell green tractors to, and if you don't have that, we're going to cut your discounts down. It's going to make you tougher to do, make it tougher for you to do business. That happens, and if you happen to catch a time when the manufacturer has just had a meeting with the dealer saying your market share's down, get it up, you may get almost full retail value out of your trade. A lot of companies don't have the clout to do that to their dealers. Deere kind of does. So that's the answer to question number one. Yeah, you'll probably get more money if you sell it yourself, but you'll have the hassle of people coming on your place. And when I trade cars, I don't think the value of the car I trade in, and this is just me, this is how I do business. I've gotten all the good out of that car when I trade it in. It's worth $500 wholesale to a salvage yard, $500 retail. That's it. The last car my daughter traded in, we drove it in, the tires needed replacing, had a crack in the windshield, the license plate was expired and it was out of gas. And we traded that thing in, and that's how I roll. But with tractors, they hold their value, so that's not as much an issue. Now let's talk about the second thing. If you're trading in something that's got an issue, and I was a dealer for 11 years, and we got shafted by customers who either would not tell us something that was major wrong with their piece of equipment or lie to us. And if you lied to us, we remembered you. And if you knew something was wrong and didn't tell us, we remembered that too. You might get to us once, the second time you wouldn't get to us. So yeah, that can damage your relationship with the dealer. Now let's get back to your 3910. That's a pretty desirable tractor, Doug. And if I'm a dealer, especially a New Holland dealer, you know, New Holland bought Ford, they're all together and they can get parts for that. If I've got customers that are loyal to the blue color, and I think I can fix that problem on that tractor, and I know that that's going to bring a premium, especially if it's been kept well otherwise, I'll probably give you pretty good value for that tractor, even though I know it's got an issue. And I would definitely tell my dealer, hey, it's got a leak in the front axle. I've tried to fix it, can't get it fixed. That's the reason I'm trading this tractor in. But I want a new tractor, don't want to have to deal with that stuff. That will impact the value of that tractor negligibly in my eyes. Because especially a New Holland dealer, they can get parts for wholesale to fix it. And they probably, hopefully, have a guy back in the shop that's seen that problem before and knows the best way to fix it and get it right and get it out. I don't think it's an insurmountable problem. It's a design flaw. And probably, unless you get a guy that really knows what he's doing in the shop to fix it right, is probably going to reoccur. But just having a four-wheel drive tractor that size has a lot of value, and people will live with having to fix that problem from time to time. So I would definitely, and you're doing the right thing, Doug, and again, When I was in the dealership world, if you leveled with me about what your trade-in was and any issues with it, I would go to the ends of the earth to take care of you after the sale on anything I sold you. I'd always try to treat the people, the customers that were honest with me, the best way I could. And the people that would lie to me or mislead me, we didn't get down and deal with them like we did the folks that had integrity. And we remembered who they were, believe me. So anyway, one last thing I'll tell you. If you're shopping for a used tractor, there's a couple things you can do when you're buying off an individual that I think a lot of people fail to do or think about. The first one, when we looked at a trade-in, when I worked in the dealership world, we had a guide sheet that we went on. We would run the tractor, check it, the clutch, all the stuff you do, guide sheet. And I kind of go over that in another video. I'll post a link at the end. And then we'd ask the customer, is there anything wrong with this tractor? And you can tell a lot by the body language of the person when they're answering that question, if they're being straight with you or not. And so if you're buying a used tractor, ask them, is there anything wrong with this tractor? And see how they react and what they say. There are people that'll look you straight in the eye and lie to you, but most of the time you can tell when that's going on. The second little nugget of wisdom that I learned about looking at used equipment is I can tell most of the time what the used piece of equipment is going to be like the minute I drive in the guy's driveway or the lady's driveway. If they're the kind of people that meticulously maintain their property, if the fences are cut under, if everything is immaculate, if the shop is, and I'm not this person, I tell you right up front, I'm not this person, but they immaculately, the floor of the shop you could almost eat off of, everything like that, the tractor is going to be good and is not going to have any issues. The guy that you go to his house and he's got a dead horse in the front yard and eight years of trash laying around, blowing around in the wind, we really didn't put much money in their trade. So you can tell a lot by the property of the person that you're looking at the trade. Appreciate you watching my videos. Here's a couple of videos you might want to watch. One on how to get used wholesale values, and the other about how to evaluate a used tractor if you're buying one. Thanks for watching.